Over the past 14 years, two of the most respected boat award programs in the world have each, at different times, handed their top trawler or passage maker honor to a very different kind of boat. Some winners are gloss and Italian design. Some are steel and Dutch pragmatism. Some were built in Hong Kong, some in France, one in Greece. But every single one of them passed a serious test. A jury of professional marine journalists looked at everything new on the market that year, got on the water, and decided that this boat, out of all of them, best represented what a long-range cruising monohull should be. This video goes through every one of those winners, from 2012 all the way to 2025. Before we get into the boats, a quick note on how this list works, because it draws from two different award programs, and not every year has a winner. The primary source is the Motorboat Awards, run by the British magazine Motorboat and Yachting. From 2012 through the mid-2010s, they ran a category called Trawler Yacht and Aft Cabin. That later became Passage Makers. It is a hands-on, sea trial-based award decided by a small panel of working marine journalists, not by public vote, and it carries real weight in the industry. The secondary source, covering the gap years in the middle of the timeline, is the European Powerboat of the Year Award, held at Boot Dusseldorf each January. This award has a displacement category, later rebranded Long Range, that covers full displacement and semi-displacement cruising yachts, regardless of size. The jury is drawn from leading European motorboat publications, and the nominees must be physically tested before any vote is cast. Now here is the honest part. Not every year produced a monohull trawler or passage maker winner. In 2013, 2016, and 2018, the relevant category was won by boats that fall outside what most of us would call a trawler or passage maker. A cruiser racer style aft cabin in one case, and power catamarans in the other two. Those years are simply skipped. There is no invented replacement and no runner-up promoted. If the winner was not a monohull long-range cruising yacht, it is not in this video. With that out of the way, here is every legitimate winner in order. 2012, Beneteau Swift Trawler 44, Motorboat Awards, Trawler Yacht, and Aft Cabin category. The Swift Trawler 44 came from Beneteau at a moment when the French builder was working hard to prove that a production trawler could offer genuine offshore credentials without asking buyers to spend at the custom build level. This is a semi-displacement hull designed for a couple or small family who want to cover serious distance without punishing themselves. The wide, walk-around side decks, protected bow, and raised saloon with panoramic glazing reflect a boat built around visibility and practical daily living. Picture standing at that helm station on a gray morning somewhere off the south coast of England, steady on course, coffee in hand, the autopilot doing its work while your crew reads below. That is the rhythm this boat was built for, and the judges recognized it. 2014 Outer Reef 700-720 Motor Yacht. Motorboat Awards, Trawler Yacht, and Aft Cabin category. The Outer Reef 700 is a different proposition entirely. This is a Hong Kong-built, full-displacement long-range motor yacht aimed at buyers who are serious about blue water passage making, not coastal hopping. Outer Reef builds to a high standard with real offshore engineering, deep fuel capacity, a layout that accommodates extended offshore passages, and the kind of construction that does not ask you to compromise livability for seakeeping. Winning this award in 2014 put an American market brand with Asian-built quality firmly on the European radar. Imagine pulling into a Portuguese marina after a 3-day Atlantic crossing, that crew rested, the boat undamaged. That is the design aspiration behind every Outer Reef, and the jury in London saw it. 2015 Absolute Navetta 58, Motorboat Awards, Trawler Yacht, and Aft Cabin category. The Absolute Navetta 58 brought Italian design thinking into a category that often leans utilitarian. Navetta in Italian means a small vessel or shuttle, and the Navetta line from Absolute sits at the intersection of semi-displacement efficiency and genuine luxury finish. This is not a rough weather tool so much as a long-range yacht that refuses to apologize for looking good while doing it. The sweeping hull windows, voluminous saloon, and careful interior proportioning are part of a design philosophy that says long passages should not mean living in a cave. Sitting in the saloon of a Navetta 58, as the light changes over an evening anchorage, everything at arm's reach, the hull settled and quiet. That was the promise, and the judges awarded it. 2017, Azimut Magellano 66, Motorboat Awards Passage Makers category. By 2017, the Motorboat Awards had renamed the relevant category Passage Makers, which is both more honest and more specific about intent. And the Magellano 66 is a passage maker in the fullest sense. Azimut built this line to deliver a dual-mode hull that can cruise in semi-displacement at fuel-efficient speeds or push to semi-planning when conditions and schedule demand it. At 66 feet, this is a serious yacht with serious range, finished to a standard that makes passages feel like choices rather than endurance events. The Magellano 66 was the largest boat to win this category in the period covered here, and its win reflected a broader trend of Italian yards moving up market in the long-range cruising space. 2019 Hardy 65 Motorboat Awards Passage Makers category. The Hardy 65 is a British-built long-range passage maker from a yard with a reputation built specifically around offshore capability. Hardy Marine has been building serious seaboats for decades, and the 65 is their flagship, a full displacement hull with a deep keel, a design ethos that prioritizes safety and range over style points, and an interior that is genuinely comfortable for the kind of extended offshore use that most production boats only gesture at. Winning the Passage Makers category in 2019 confirmed the Hardy 65 as one of the most credible British-built passages makers of its generation. Imagine a night watch in the North Atlantic, the boat tracking steady, the motion slow and deliberate, the kind of seakeeping that lets the off-watch crew actually sleep. That is what Hardy builds toward. From 2020 onward through 2024, the Motorboat Awards did not consistently map to a monohull trawler or passage maker winner in a way that fits the definition used in this video. So for those 5 years, we switched to the European Powerboat of the Year displacement and long-range categories, which ran without interruption and specifically recognized displacement cruising yachts. Every winner in this block is a monohull. Everyone was physically tested by the jury before the vote. 2020 Vedette Navigator 35, European Powerboat of the Year, displacement category. The Vedette Navigator 35 is the most compact boat on this entire list. It is a French-built semi-displacement river and coastal cruiser built in the tradition of the classic European steel yacht, a style of boat that does not have strong roots in the American or British market, but is enormously popular in Northern and Western Europe for inland sea, canal, and coastal passage work. The jury noted its build quality and its practical layout as standout features. It is an honest, sensible boat for a kind of cruising that does not require a large budget or an offshore crew. Heading out of a French river mouth on a calm morning, the Navigator 35 doing what it does quietly and without fuss. That is its world. 2021 Turbocraft Silverfin, European Powerboat of the Year displacement category. The Turbocraft Silverfin is the most unconventional winner on this list. Built in the Netherlands, it is an aluminium semi-displacement cruiser with a profile that sits outside any obvious category. Part coastal passage boat, part Danish-influenced design exercise. It is unusual enough that many experienced trawler buyers will not have encountered it. But the European Powerboat jury does not reward familiarity. It rewards performance, quality, and concept. The Silverfin won because it offered a genuinely considered approach to efficient long-range motoring in a package that was well built and practically laid out. It is the wild card of this list, and it earns its place. 2022 Beneteau Grand Trawler 62, European Powerboat Awards, displacement category. Beneteau returning to this list with the Grand Trawler 62 is significant. This is a much more serious yacht than the Swift Trawler 44 that started this timeline 10 years earlier. The Grand Trawler 62 is Beneteau's statement that they can play at the top of the long-range cruising market. A full displacement hull, a layout designed around extended liveaboard use, and a level of standard specification that would have surprised buyers accustomed to the brand's more modest offerings. The displacement category judges called it full of ideas for what future cruising motor yachts might look like. Standing on the bow of a Grand Trawler 62 in a deep anchorage somewhere in the Mediterranean, the water still, the anchor down properly, the interior laid out exactly how a cruising couple would want it. That is the image Beneteau was building toward. 2023 Super Lauwersmeer SLX 54, European Powerboat of the Year displacement category. Super Lauwersmeer is a Dutch yard with a long history building high-quality displacement cruising yachts for the European market. The SLX 54 is a steel-hulled semi-displacement motor yacht that represents the best of what the Dutch build when they are not cutting corners. The layout is practical, the construction is serious, and the hull is designed to make meaningful passages in Northern European conditions, which means short, steep chop, tidal races, and weather that changes faster than any forecast. The anti-rolling gyro fitted to the SLX-54 was specifically noted as a feature that raised the comfort level at sea. This is a boat for serious coastal and offshore cruising in the hands of an owner who values durability over glamour. 2024 Omikron Yachts OT60, European Powerboat of the Year, long-range category. The Omikron OT60 is the only Greek-built boat on this entire list, and it is the only complete surprise. A brand that most trawler buyers outside Europe will not have heard of winning one of the continent's most prestigious displacement yacht awards. Omikron is part of the Olympic Marine Group, a Greek builder with decades of commercial and military marine experience, who decided to enter the long-range leisure yacht space with a boat designed from the ground up for efficiency, range, and seakeeping. The jury specifically praised the OT60's combination of modern construction technique, classic long-range design intent, and low fuel consumption. This is not a flashy boat, it is a considered one. 2025 Beneteau Swift Trawler 54. Motorboat Awards, Best Passage Maker category. And so the timeline closes where it opened, with Beneteau and with the Swift Trawler line. 13 years separate the Swift Trawler 44 that won in 2012 from the Swift Trawler 54 that won in 2025, and the difference between the two boats is a useful measure of how much the category has moved. The 54 is larger, better equipped, more refined, and built to a spec that would have felt out of reach for a production trawler buyer in 2012. It is still a semi-displacement hull built for a couple who want to cover ground efficiently without punishing themselves doing it. The Passage Makers jury at Motorboat and Yachting named it the best of its kind for 2025. It is in many ways the natural heir to where the category has been heading for over a decade. One thing that stands out looking at the full list is that no single builder or country dominates it. Beneteau appears 3 times, which is more than anyone else, but beyond that you have American, Italian, British, Dutch, and Greek builders, all taking home a win at some point. The trawler and passage maker category is genuinely international, and these awards reflect that. If you own, have owned, or are actively considering any of the boats on this list, drop a comment below. Which one would you choose and why?